Hello! It's time to start harvesting the potatoes, one of the earliest and best harvests of the year. When you're harvesting potatoes, lots of people get a little bit confused as to exactly when they're ready. Now, they don't have to be flowering. As you can see, these ones are not. Also, you don't have to do anything like fiddling around amongst the roots to see if the tubers are big enough. I actually find that if you do that, you actually damage so many tubers that you diminish your harvest anyway. So I do it on timing. What I reckon is that from putting in your seed potatoes, the new potatoes, which are up earliest, it takes 8 weeks on average from sowing your seed potatoes to harvest. If you're sowing your new potatoes in mid-March, that's only in the south of the country where it's nice and warm, and even then you need to put a couple of layers of fleece on the top just to protect them against frost, just in case. If you're doing that, you can expect to harvest from about mid-June, that's 8 weeks later. If you do get any frost, add another couple of weeks to that just to let them catch up a little bit on the damaged growth. Second earlies like these take a little bit longer, about 10 weeks from sowing, and main crops take the longest of all, 12 to 14, maybe even 16 weeks. That's why you leave them in all season and don't harvest them until the end of August, beginning of September. So just do it on the length of time it's taken them to grow. When they're ready, when you've given them enough time, you can just go ahead and dig them up. Now, in order to do this, take your fork. Just an ordinary garden fork is just fine. You don't need a special broad-tined potato fork. Lovely if you can get hold of one, but it's not necessary. Make sure you put your fork in a little way away from the main stem of the potato plant, because underneath there are all your tubers and you don't want to be putting your fork through one of your tubers because obviously you'll damage it. Insert your fork and just lever out your spuds. Now, job's not over just yet, because if you leave any of those little tubers in the ground, even the really teeny tiny ones, they will sprout next year, and that's a real pain in the neck. They will actually carry disease over from one year to the next. So if you have blight on your crop, for example, then a volunteer potato, a seedling that sprouted where you don't want it, will actually keep that blight going from one year to the next and infect next year's crop. So it's really worth giving your soil a really good dig over after you've harvested your potatoes, just to make absolutely sure you've got every last one out. There, that's looking pretty clear. And last of all, take the top growth, pop it on the compost heap, lovely compost for next year. And potatoes for tea.